Travis went good self. With the raid on the FLDS Church of Warren Jeffs, the raid actually did something wrong that is common with raids on religious groups, and that is that they separated the children from their mothers. And that caused a backlash from the community. Polygamy is a crime, and so polygamous families are illegal. It's not the same as fleeing your country and coming into America without going through a port. Because even though there is laws that says you have to go through a port, you're innocent until proven guilty. And in those circumstances, if you're fleeing for your life, you're not to blame. However, polygamous families are to blame. They were knowingly violating the law in advance. This wasn't a situation where the women were claiming to be raped, held hostage, and thus being further victimized with the raid. One could argue that yes, they were, but rape charges were never involved, as the women continue to be polygamous with their polygamous children. That didn't stop them. So the rape argument is a non-issue here. But those women and children have gone away from that incident believing that their religious rights were violated, that they became victims of a corrupt American government. And that their leader, Warren Jeffs, is a religious prisoner, similar to a political prisoner for politics, and he's a religious prisoner, arrested because of his religious beliefs. And so they don't care that Warren Jeffs was tortured to confess he wasn't the true prophet. They don't care that he was marrying child brides, along with the SNAP fraud violations. The manner in which that was handled caused further damage as those women re-entrenched themselves into their criminal organization, believing it to be the true religion and that they are persecuted victims of a corrupt American government. Such is the case for a group of girls up in Idaho, because of a dumbass Idaho sheriff. on Wednesday, this is reported by the New York Daily Times, Jamie Gans. The judge on Wednesday ruled that Bingham County Sheriff Craig Rowland, in addition to surrendering all his guns to the Idaho State Police, can have no contact with the girls, ages 12 to 16. He allegedly threatened last month. Allegedly? He's being punished. You're not supposed to be punished for alleged allegations. You're innocent until proven guilty. Rowland, who did not enter a plea during his first court appearance Wednesday, was charged earlier this month with aggravated battery, aggravated assault, and misdemeanor exhibition of a gun. He gets to keep his job, though surrender his firearms. This is all screwed up. And so again, you have a corrupt sheriff who allegedly did something to little girls, and he gets to keep his job, though he can no longer have a gun. He'll have to be confined to the desk because he can't go out on patrol. He needs his gun to be out on patrol. He'll be a sitting target. And so the prolonged court, we're supposed to have speedy trials. We're not supposed to take weeks, months, years. Are just going to keep on going and going and going. And so the group of girls, yeah, they're Mormon, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints youth group. They were putting thank you notes on Mormons' doors and then ringing the doorbell and running away. Harmless, but the sheriff also got a note, but the sheriff stopped the vehicle, pulled the leader out of the car by her hair, and pointed a gun at her to blow her away. And as a result, each of those little girls now believe that the government is corrupt, that they were being persecuted for their religious beliefs, and they will never study to find out that the church they're in is false and committing crimes. They'll be devoted Mormons, brainwashed by the church because of the dumbass actions of the sheriff. It's all just sickening. And so these little girls who are forced to pay tithing in order to be considered worthy these little girls who are lied to about their own religious history into thinking that they're Christian, into thinking that Brigham Young, the polygamist, was a true prophet, who Jesus was okay with him being a racist, a sexist, and a bigot, as it teaches these little girls that it's okay to be a religious, sexist, bigot, and racist, and hater of the poor, because God chooses these kinds of men to be the prophet of the church. These little girls, because of the dumbass actions of the sheriff, will believe that it's okay to be criminal because that's your religion. Just like the FLDS church women and girls and boys. What they were doing was perfectly fine. It was a modification of the ding-dong ditch with flaming poo. So thank you notes are a little bit better. But nonetheless, the dark side of Mormonism is now miscolored under the guise of religious persecution because of the dumbass sheriff. It was poorly handled. And so yes, the sheriff, yeah, he needs to lose his job. He needs to serve prison time because he was acting as a police officer. He was on duty and abused the office. Those are what would be considered high crimes for people in office or in some kind of position of government authority. Consequences are supposed to be higher. But again, we have a failed justice system that turns criminal behavior into victimizers. Oh, I'm being victimized. I should have the right to rob this bank. I've heard those excuses. Well, if the 7-Eleven employee didn't throw something at me, I wouldn't have had to have shot him while I was robbing him. Just psycho. Alrighty.